Hi, welcome back to Soul Rebellion Sunday. Today we are going to be talking about the deepest wounds and healing them from the inside out. And before we start, I want to give a gentle trigger warning, just because today I'm going to be talking about abuse and sexual trauma. If you need to pause or step away, please do so. Take care of yourself because your safety is the most important. I have never been somebody to share the deepest parts of my story lately, but I know there's someone out there who's watching who needs to hear that they're not the only one. When I was a child, something happened to me that was unspeakable. Like, when I say unspeakable, I did not talk about this until I was 20 I think, 20 or 21, and just getting myself to talk about it was the most sickening thing. Like, I thought I was gonna throw up. And it was so hard because I shoved it down so far that pulling it back up physically made me sick, because it's not something that you want to remember from your childhood. No child should ever have to go through what I went through, let alone remember it. But that's how we heal. And I remember when I first talked about it, it was to my therapist, my first therapist I've ever had. And I was like, okay, let's go back. So I remember when I have PTSD, right? And so I used to have nightmares every night, and I wasn't sleeping very well. And I got to the point where I was sleeping in my living room on the couch because I felt more safe on the couch than in my own bedroom. And I lived alone. I lived by myself. But that's what PTSD does to you. It makes you feel like you're in a constant state of fear. And I would go to work and I'd be afraid of everybody around me. It's like I was living in a constant state of fear, and it was really damaging to my health. And like, I weighed like 100 pounds. I could barely eat. I was so stressed out all the time. I had really terrible breakouts on my face. I had like severe anxiety and depression. Like, I would go to work and I would literally go to work and have anxiety all day. That doesn't go away. And I'd get home and I'd jump right in bed and I'd go to sleep. And I got to the point where I was like, I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to live my life in this constant trauma loop. I know there's something better out there. I know I can feel better. I know that it's possible to live a good life after trauma. And because at the time, to me, I was like, I don't want to live a life where I just see it all the time. And I want to be able to see the beauty in the world and see myself as beautiful and like create connections. Like, I don't want to be glued to my bed my whole life and be lonely and be afraid of everybody around me. And so that's when I took this step to go to therapy. And truthfully, I was not happy about it. I was relieved I was getting help, but I was so scared. And it's valid to be scared. It's valid. Therapy can be scary to somebody who's never, one, been to therapy, or two, talked about a lot of the things that have happened in their life. So I went to therapy, and like, I needed to talk about this so bad. I think I talked about this my second session because the first one is normally like intake paperwork, and I was like, I need to get something off my chest that I've literally never told anybody. And like, I've told myself, like, I was talking about this to myself out loud to process it, like at my apartment. And I remember I had a pillow, and I'd hug a pillow every time I went to therapy. And when I told her, I put my hands over my face because I felt immense shame. I was like, I don't want to look her in the eyes and say this. I don't want to look at anybody. I just want to like turn my back to her and say it. But I was like, I'm just going to cover my eyes. So I covered my eyes, and I told her what happened to me as a child, and I just bawled my eyes out. And then I just cried and cried and cried, but I felt a sense of relief that I finally told somebody who can help me. And I was in therapy for a long time for it, and I eventually actually found a trauma-based center called the Victim Center. And that was the most help, the most supportive environment I've ever been in. And I love that place, and I would recommend it to anybody who is a trauma survivor. And that place is specifically for people who have been and like dealt with sexual abuse, domestic violence, like stuff like that. And amazing. Like my therapist like got me to do things that I thought I would never do in my life. Like, one, I went to go get a psych eval, and then I got medication. And I was always like, I'm never gonna go on medication, all natural. I wanna just try herbal supplements. But I tried so many, like I worked at a supplement shop, and since we had a discount, I literally bought so many supplements, and I did my research like day and night to try to find something that would help me, and literally nothing helped. Like, it did help for like a short period, but you start to build up like a tolerance in your system, and then it doesn't work the same anymore. And I have an imbalance, so when I spoke to the doctor about it, she's like, those supplements probably were not working because you have this imbalance to where your brain makes dopamine and serotonin, but it doesn't keep it. And so that's why like my childhood trauma created an imbalance in my brain, because I did not get the opportunity to grow up like a child like should grow up and develop. And so then I got on medication, and I love my medication. I've of course been through multiple to find the right ones, but this changed my life. And when I tell you, when I had to switch my meds when I was pregnant, the PTSD came flooding in, and that's something I had not felt in a long time, and it was the scariest thing. And at the time when I was with my fiance, I remember I was just like crying, and I was shaking, and I was scared. I didn't want to open my eyes, and he just held me. And then he ran me a bath, and then sat in the bath, and because baths are super comforting. And I love hot baths. I love hot Epsom salt baths. They always make me feel better. But the point to me sharing this is that I would not be where I am today or who I am today if I did not take the steps to process the trauma that was literally draining my life every day. And I think it's really important, no matter how hard it is, use my story as like motivation to do the healing work that is going to give you the life that you want, the life that you desire, because you deserve that. And you deserve to like live a life that's not a constant state of movie trauma. Movie trauma is what I like to call it. It's like you've got a blindfold on and it's just trauma that plays regardless of who you're around or who you talk to. It's like always there, and we need to get that out of there. And it is hard. Like, I had times where I would be like screaming and crying for like at night, like in my apartment, because like just feeling everything. You don't want to feel it. And so that's why it's so easy for people to push it away, not deal with it. But little do people know, like when they do push it away like that, they're suppressing it more and keeping it there. So it is hard to confront it, but then once you confront it, you won't have to like, you're not gonna be like, it's like a weight comes off of you, and it is one of the best feelings. It really is. And I want to tell you that my soul rebellion started the day that I decided to get healing. Because I matter more than what happened to me and the thoughts that I had about myself at the time, and just the viewpoint I had in the world and people around me. It was gonna be a really, really rough life for me if I did not get help. And so I still do so much, because like there's so much. When you didn't get a childhood, when you didn't get to grow up like somebody should grow up, there's a lot of healing you have to do, a lot of stuff that you still need to deal with. And healing is not linear. You know, I could be fine for a few weeks and then I have some kind of memory come up and then I'm like, okay, that hurts. How can I feel this and heal it? And I love telling people and saying, feel it to heal it. Feel it to heal it. And that's what one of my therapists told me. And because you hear commonly, fake it till you make it. But if you're faking it, you're not feeling it. You're literally putting a band-aid over it and acting like you're fine. And generally, you don't make it. A lot of times you don't make it. And some people, maybe that works for them, but that is a form of suppression. So it's still going to be living in your body. But when you feel it, acknowledge it, that is when the healing happens. If you're holding something like this, please know that what happened to you was not your fault. And I know that is one of the hardest things to be like, you're right, it was not my fault, because for a long time I thought it was my fault. And I like literally was like, you're wrong, it was my fault. And then my therapist was like, no, you were a child. You were taken advantage of. It was not your fault. You didn't even know what any of that stuff was. And I was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. And that's when you start taking your life back. And I'm telling you, you don't have to like tell a bunch of people, but I'm telling you, telling one person, like somebody that makes you feel safe, even if it's a therapist, will take you one step closer to breathing better again, to relieving that anxiety, to relieving the stress that is in your chest and on your shoulders every day. Okay. I want you to do something with me, okay? So I want you to put your hand on your heart, and I want you to say this after me. Let's take a deep breath first, calm our nerves a little bit, okay? Let's take one more. Okay. I want you to say, I believe me. I believe my story. I believe the memory of what happened to me, even if nobody around me believes it. I honor myself and what I went through. And I am worthy of healing and support. Because, okay, even if nobody believes you, you believing yourself is one of the most courageous things and one of the most courageous steps you can take. You are a survivor. You're a survivor. And now you're rising. This is your soul rebellion. Take back your life. Take back your life from the pain, because I am standing right here with you. If you need support through this journey, you can email me at kaleacollective@gmail.com, and I will have my email down in the description. You are doing amazing work, and you got this. I believe in you, and it is possible.